June 29th, 1995. June 29th, 1995, 5:57 p.m. In just 20 seconds, a symbol of prosperity became a concrete tomb. 502 people died. Hundreds more were trapped beneath the rubble. This was not an earthquake, not terrorism, not an accident. It was a preventable disaster, built by choices, by cost-cutting, by ignored warnings, by a system that looked away. To understand how this happened, we have to go back decades, to a time when speed came before safety and profit came before people. Welcome to the Liminal Archive. Entry number 4, the 22nd Apocalypse. In 1960, South Korea was among the poorest countries in the world. By 1995, it had become one of the world's largest economies. The growth was real, but the method was often brutally simple: build fast, build cheap, ask questions later. And the warning signs were already there. The Wow apartment collapsed in 1970. Dozens dead. Substandard materials. The Seongsu Bridge collapsed in 1994. Dozens dead. A critical structural failure. And then Sampoong Department Store in 1995. 502 dead. Not from nature, but from negligence and greed. Again and again, the pattern repeated. Corners were cut. Warnings were ignored. Blame was shifted. Punishment was light. And the cycle continued. Sampoong wasn't the first disaster. It was the one that couldn't be buried. 1987. Construction begins. The original plan was a 4-story office building. Ordinary, but stable. Then the plan changes midstream. A 5th floor is added. Not after careful review, not after structural analysis, but because it would make more money. Engineers object. They are pushed out. Then escalators are relocated. That means cutting and altering key structural elements. Engineers object again. They're pushed out again. Then comes the rooftop restaurant, a heavy addition on a structure never designed to carry it. More objections, more removals. Over time, safety reports pile up. Violations are documented, but enforcement doesn't follow. Instead, money moves. Bribes are paid, reports disappear, and the building opens. 1990. Sampoong Department Store begins operations. Tens of thousands of customers visit daily. They are shopping on a structural time bomb. For years, the building signals distress. Cracks appear. They're painted over. Employees feel vibrations during busy hours. They're dismissed. Requests for inspection are made. The messengers are punished. Even after the Seongsu Bridge collapse, the response is not engineering. It is public relations. June 1995, the final month. June 10th, cracks widen in the ceiling. June 20th, the rooftop floor visibly sags. June 28th, massive air conditioning units are moved on the roof, shifting weight and balance. June 29th, morning. The building shows measurable tilt. By noon, concrete fragments fall from the ceiling. By mid-afternoon, security staff can feel the structure swaying. Any rational decision would be evacuation, but rationality loses to revenue. 5 p.m., an emergency meeting, an executive boardroom. A structural engineer delivers a direct warning. The building will collapse, not might, will, within hours. Evacuate immediately. Silence. Then a question that defines the tragedy. In Korean, the chairman asks, "How much money do we lose if we evacuate?" Rough numbers are calculated. Customers currently inside. Average spending per customer. The remaining business hours. The conclusion is not safety. It is loss. The decision is made. Keep the store open. The engineer insists again. People will die. And the engineer is removed. Minutes later, the engineer calls emergency services. The store is contacted. Management says everything is fine, and then something else happens. Quietly, without warning, executives begin to leave. Some employees notice. A few follow. Most remain. An informal evacuation starts too late. Many are still inside, and time is almost gone. 5:57 p.m. In under a minute, the structure fails. First, Vibration and stress intensify. Then a critical column buckles. Then one floor drops onto the next, and the next. A chain reaction. This is called progressive collapse. One failure triggers another until the entire system comes down. In seconds, the building becomes rubble. 502 people die. Hundreds are trapped underground. Then the noise stops, and what follows is the most disturbing part. Voices, calling for help, from beneath concrete and steel. Some survive, not because the system worked, but despite its failure. A young woman survives more than 2 weeks in darkness, pinned beneath debris, waiting, listening, conserving energy. Others survive by collecting tiny amounts of water, by holding onto consciousness, by refusing to surrender. This is not only a physical story, it is a psychological one. The space between life and death, a liminal existence. Then comes the trial. October 1995. Charges include criminal negligence, bribery, and multiple building code violations. Evidence includes ignored safety reports, testimony from dismissed engineers, and the record of executives leaving before the public. The defense is familiar. I am not an engineer. How could I know? The sentence is delivered, and when you calculate it, the numbers are hard to sit with. Hundreds of deaths measured against a finite prison term. Years later, release follows, and life continues for those responsible. Now compare it to other disasters worldwide. In some cases, professional licenses are revoked for life. In some cases, companies pay massive settlements. In some cases, long-term imprisonment follows. The question remains, what does accountability look like? It is now 2024. Nearly 3 decades have passed, and yet tragedies continue in new forms. Ferries, crowds, floods, different scenes, similar failures. Because the underlying incentives often remain: growth over safety, speed over quality, connections over competence. A cultural mindset built the miracle, and it also created blind spots. Every year, survivors gather to remember. Candles are lit, names are read, and one question returns: when will things change? The answer is not only in laws and regulations, it is in priorities, in enforcement, in culture, in refusing to treat safety as optional. This has been entry number 004 of the Liminal archive, a disaster that took 502 lives in 20 seconds. Subscribe for more investigations into the systems that fail people. And remember this: the buildings around you were built under incentives, sometimes by the lowest bidder. Entry filed. Archive close.